was graffiti that read, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?" And it really got me thinking, when was the last time I tried something new? Something that threw me out of my comfort zone, that made me so uncomfortable that I had to think twice before doing it. And how did I feel about that? Now, as a child, I was extremely emotional. I was very expressive about it. I could not keep it in. So if I was happy, you'd find me jumping around the room, laughing, making jokes, having fun with everybody. But if I was upset, you would find me crying and wailing at the top of my lungs. And yeah, I was extremely expressive about it, and I could not keep it in. Point being that I would feel intensely, but I would never know why. And it still happens sometimes. Last week, I teared up at a video of baby elephants for no apparent reason. And I was never ashamed of that. Now let me tell you a story. It's 2015. I'm in my boarding school. It's my 17th birthday. I'm sitting in front of my dorm room, and this happens. I know what you're thinking. This is not an act of teenage rebellion. I went bald for a cause with 17 other people, and we donated our hair to a cancer center in Lebanon. It was a huge decision because I had always been told that I have beautiful hair, and I had to think twice before giving it all up. It took me 2 years to grow my hair out again, and of course, even though that was a big decision, what was even larger was the effect of it, because everybody had something to say about it. Now, I cannot describe what it was like, because being told my whole life that I have beautiful long hair, giving it all up was huge. And I remember going to bed on the 4th of March, one day before my birthday, one day before I shaved all my hair off, and thinking that my life was going to change completely the next day. It didn't. I was still me. I just felt surprisingly lighter. So I remember sitting there as my friends shaved my hair off, and I remember feeling my heart racing and being so present and so aware of everything. And I started thinking, and I suddenly realized that, oh my God, what am I going to look like? And as ridiculous as it sounds, I had not thought about that before. It took me a while to get used to the sight of myself without any hair in the mirror. It took me a while to stop questioning whether, when I'm on my way to class and people tell me, "Vanisha, you look absolutely gorgeous," whether they're being serious or genuine or just friendly and encouraging. And I'm not going to lie, I was embarrassed. I had never seen myself without my hair, and where I used to feel my long, black, silky hair, I had a tiny, rough, bald head. Now, 2 weeks after I shaved my hair off, my friends and I took a trip to Kerala, which is a state in South India. Now, 4 out of 5 of us were bald, and 3 of us were girls. And I had never been made to feel so conscious of my appearance, because wherever I went, people would stare at us in sympathy. Some would offer us free milkshakes at restaurants, which was great. But some people would look at us in disgust, and some would come and ask us what happened to us. And most would just assume that we were victims or survivors of some serious illness. A month after that, I went home. Now, at this point, my hair was already a short crop. It had started growing out, and my family was going to see me for the first time since I shaved my hair off. And my grandmother had seen me in photos. She knew what I had done, but she was going to see me for the first time in person. So when she saw me approaching her from a distance, and I hugged her, and we met each other after the longest time, she took a long look at my face, and she said, "Vanisha?" "Makilogyo Varun wo." "Vanisha, I thought you were your brother." And when I met my friends, and they told me that I had put on weight, I realized that I did indeed look a lot like my brother. So my mom and I, We decided to buy dresses and scarves and whatever we could to make me look more feminine. I obliged, and I started wearing one every day. Now, there were moments when I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, have I actually made a difference? Or am I being selfish for even feeling embarrassed? Because I did this for a cause. I did it for a reason. I did it so that a child would not have to go through what I'm going through and had the option of covering it up, because my hair would grow back, but theirs probably wouldn't. And eventually I found myself trying to cover it all up because I was so tired of people's reactions to what I had done that it actually made me embarrassed. Instead of focusing on why I did what I did, people just focused on how I looked. Now, I'm a person who thinks a lot about her past. Now, some might say that I'm not living in the moment, but I think it's reflecting, and I think it's very important. I often took myself back to the night before the event, before I shaved my hair off. I remember taking a shower that night, and as I washed my hair, I remember thinking, wow, I might not feel water through my hair for a very long time now. But right after the event, I jumped back into the shower. And as I turned my shower on and felt cold water on my head for the first time, it tickled a lot. But it was the most fantastic feeling in the world. And when I think of that, I realize that, okay, maybe it doesn't matter what I did, because I did something that scared me to the core. I did something that made me uncomfortable. I did something, and I gave a part of myself away for what I believed in. So I may not have made it yet, but I'm definitely proud of where I am today. So this event marked a very, very important transition for me, because as a teenager, I always denied my emotions, and as a child, I never even knew how I was feeling. But here, I was embarrassed, I was nervous, I was excited, I was above everything else, unapologetically proud of what I had done. And while these emotions were intense, I lived through each and every one of them. So while emotional intelligence is having control over your emotions, I realized that for me, knowing how I felt was very, very important. I started asking myself, how do you feel about this, before everything that I did? And answering that question, knowing how I felt, talking to myself, I realized that I was digging deeper. I found a sort of comfort in my emotions. I found comfort in my decisions that I had not had before. Now, there's also this story that I really want to share with you. I remember this very clearly. I was 6 years old, and my mom and I decided that I'm going to take part in a costume contest at school. I had terrible stage fright. It was awful, but my mom and I worked really hard on this costume. She did my makeup, she wrote my lines. For 2 weeks before the costume contest, we practiced every single day after school. I remember this very clearly. And right before I went on stage, I broke down. I couldn't do it, and she was very, very, very disappointed in me. But I'm here today, in front of hundreds of people, and this is by far the most terrifying thing that I've done. But I know how I feel. I am nervous, I am excited, my heart is racing. I'm talking about something that I care very, very deeply for. And I have never spoken about this so openly before. But I'm here, and I know how I feel, so it's all good.